Hello guys, now this is our block 6 of Murder on the Orient Express, and today we'll be reviewing chapters 16, 17 and 18, or it's chapters 8, 9 and 10 of part 2. So let's get right into it, and we'll start with chapter 8. And so here's how it all goes down. Okay, so in chapter 8 we start with the question with Colonel Arbuthnot, and he's talking about why he went from India to Syria. He says that it's personal reasons, and he says that in the train that they were in the Charo Express, it was the first time that he met Mary, and so, which is kind of weird because they were having a conversation in the first chapters that didn't really add up to strangers that they were just meeting, but we'll analyze that later. However, what we know is that Hercule asks the colonel what he thinks of Mary, and he says, well, she's a lady, I don't think that she could commit a crime, and that's about it. While recalling the events of the night of the murder, we know that he indeed was talking with Hector McQueen. They were talking about Indian politics, and they were having a quite long chat. They even went down to stretch their legs in the Vincavi stop. However, they retreated because of the cold. They even had a smoke. The colonel smokes a pipe. And now here's the interesting part, because the colonel did note some events in the night that were quite interesting to take note of. He went to his bed at approximately 2:45 a.m. and the only thing that recalls is that a lady passed in the hallway and she left what was a really fruity scent, and that when he retired to his bed, he saw that the wagonlet conductor was indeed in his seat looking at the hallway, and that compartment number 6 door was cracked open, so he tried to peek in a little to see what was going on. However, when he tried to do that, the man that was like peeking out immediately shut the door off. And that's about it, guys, for chapter 8. And now moving on to chapter 9. Once the colonel retreats, they call the last passenger Mr. Hartman, which was the man seen peeking out of the compartment by the colonel. And so when he's called, we know that he's an American, that his passport says that he is visiting, that he's selling typewriting ribbons and it's a salesman. However, when he's asked by the detective his real motives, he reveals his true identity, which is his true name is Cyrus B. Hartman, and he is a detective in McNeil's detective agency in New York City. Now, he was actually paid by Ratchet to solve the mystery and to offer some protection to Ratchet. Obviously, he failed to protect Ratchet and he was murdered. According to what we know of Cyrus, is that based on the clues that Ratchet had gathered, is that the person who wanted to murder him was a small man with dark skin but with a womanish voice. It's a weird description, but that's what Ratchet apparently thought of the assassin looked like. And so now what we're wondering is why he was peeking out of the doors. To what the detective responded is that, well, he was supposed to have the compartment next door to Ratchet. However, I don't know what happened, but he got instead some compartment that was further, and so he was peeking out of the door to look at the hallway. However, he says that he never saw something weird going on the hallway all night long, and well, that's about it. He's quite surprised when he finds out that Ratchet is actually Cassetti, the murderer of Daisy. And what we understand of is that we know that the detective didn't really recognize Cassetti because he was working far away when all the Armstrong case occurred, so he would have never recognized Cassetti even if he knew him, because he wasn't really interested or involved in that case. That's a wrap for chapter 9 of part 2, guys. And lastly, for this blog, we're gonna review chapter 10. And so let's get right into it. Then, in this chapter, we have the questioning of Antonio Foscanelli, the Italian, which is actually more American than Italian. He has lived in America for 10 long years. He has worked for Ford for most of his time in America. So, I mean, calling him an Italian would be quite ridiculous, but that's not the point. So, let's get to the question. And so, okay, Antonio Foscanelli is not really relevant. We don't get a lot of clues, except for the part that we know that he is a cigarette smoker and that the night of the murder he had dinner with Mr. Hartman, and then after dinner he retired to his compartment, and that he's sharing room with John Bull. He was quite having a good night's sleep, but he was awoken because his partner of compartment was groaning at night, and so that awoke him, but we don't really get more information about him or what occurred what night or if he saw something else. Guys, so now that's about it for chapters 16, 17, and 18 of Murder on the Orient Express, or chapters 8, 9, and 10 of part 2. Now, how do I feel of these chapters? I'm not personally fond of them. I don't really like them. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I find even though they are quite relevant to the story, because they are, even though we're not focusing on the main suspects, we're still seeing some passengers that didn't have that much of attention. However, I don't like these chapters because I feel like they are kind of like distracting us of the whole plot. Like they are just building up on the climax, and what I don't like is that they keep building some stress about me because I keep getting like, okay, move on. I want to keep knowing what happened with Daisy and the relationship of Mary and the Colonel, and if some characters know each other because of the Armstrong case. I don't know. I feel like they get me quite anxious. They want me to get to know more information, but they don't give me any more information. They are just giving me facts and facts and facts and facts and facts, but I just can't seem to connect them. And I just don't have more story or more information with other characters that I have somehow connected in a way. I cannot connect these characters. So, I mean, I don't like these chapters because they make me anxious and they make me quite desperate because I feel like the story is not advancing. However, they are quite important to the building up to the climax, and even though they're not my personal favorite and they quite make me like math with the book at some point, because I just want to know and get to the part like where we can finally get the clues together and start solving this case. They are quite important to building a case that's Agatha Christie worthy. And so guys, that's about it. Stay tuned for block number 7, and that'll be of chapters 19, 20, and 21. And so I'll see you next week.